Hello everyone. I have come today to give an English version of one of my earlier videos in which I had explained what the diabetic reversal programs teach us. So before telling you what the diabetic reversal programs teach us, let me tell you what diabetic reversal is. Diabetic reversal means going back or in the reverse from the place where you are in. It is not a cure. That is one thing you have to understand. Diabetes reversal is not a cure. So, diabetes reversal programs teach us to reduce our HbA1c, our blood glucose, fasting glucose, our cholesterol levels, our peripheral neuropathy, etc., which comes because of our reducing our other metabolic markers. They teach us this through modification of lifestyle. Diabetes is a lifestyle disease, and modification of lifestyle will address the root cause of diabetes. The root causes lifestyle errors. So now let us see what are the things that they teach us. The first thing that contributes to diabetes is the wrong diet. So what they teach us is how to correct our diets. And how do they correct our diet? Here, the most important thing that we should keep in mind is that we see diabetes as an increase in blood sugar, and the blood sugar comes from our eating carbs. So carbs directly change to blood sugar. So they try to help us to reduce this blood glucose by reducing the carbohydrate that is converted into blood glucose. How do they reduce the carbohydrate that is converted to blood glucose? Number one, by replacing the carbs. The low carb diet replaces carbs with fat. Carbs and fat are both energy sources. So replacing carbs with fat means you replace one energy source with another energy source which doesn't spike your blood glucose. But if you eat both together, your diabetes will worsen. But you can eat both together if the carbohydrate is very low and fat is correspondingly increased. Too much fat is also not good. So that is the low carb diet. Other diets like say the millet protocol of Khaderwali, etc., they teach us to replace or substitute one carb. That the other one was replacing carbs with fat. Substitute one kind of carbs with another kind of carbs. They teach us to substitute wheat and rice with the 5 positive millets, which are higher in fiber and protein and other nutrients, and which will therefore help to keep the blood sugar lower. They also teach us to ferment these so that it addresses the question of the gut bacteria. So that is another way, replacing one carb with another. There are other ways also, like the food plate, where the carbohydrate that you eat is kept the same. You eat the chapati or you eat the rice, but you replace a major portion with vegetables. Vegetables are rich in fiber. They have some amount of carbohydrates. They give you a lot of micronutrients, and this is a very good way to eat. And you have to, for this, you have to see the food plate videos of American Diabetic Association or Dr. Srijit Kumar, which I will share in the comment in the description box. So that is another way of replacing carbs. You can replace carbs with carbs which are higher in fiber and which are different from this rice and wheat. You can use barley. Barley is a very good carb. It has higher carbs, but it has very good kind of fiber called beta-glucan. And beta-glucan, I think, is another kind of fiber which helps to reduce blood glucose. So there are different kinds of carbs better than rice and wheat. Now, when I say this, I have to talk about rice and wheat also. The rice, ancient wheat, like emmer wheat or kafli wheat, that is different. And ancient rice grains with bran intact, they are also different. They are also lower in carbs than the rice and the wheat that we use. Even parboiled red rice is lower in carbs, better than the white basmati and white rices. The rice has become like this because of hybridization of rice. We were deficient in food, and we had major famines in our state in the beginning after our independence. Even before independence, that you know how there was the Bengal famine. So all these famines had to be addressed, and so there was the Green Revolution by Dr. Swaminathan under Indira Gandhi's guidance. And that changed the profile of the grains so that the ratio of the two starches in that grain, the starches called amylose and amylopectin changed. I think I understand amylopectin increased and amylose decreased. The grain which is rich in amylopectin is softer and has easily digestible starches. Grains rich in amylose are harder and they are not digested so quickly. Amylose is not digested so quickly. So when you use ancient grains, your blood sugar does not spike as much. So that is a little bit about diet. You have to replace with fat, or you have to replace with vegetables, or you have to replace with better grains and millets. The second aspect they teach is about physical inactivity. Physical inactivity contributes a great deal to the development of diabetes because in two ways. It is the muscles that burn most of the glucose and glycogen. So when we don't exercise, the glycogen stores in the muscle are there kept intact. So when we eat again and the blood glucose goes up and the insulin carries it to the muscle or to the liver or other parts of the body, it doesn't accept the glucose because it already is full. Then another thing what happens is then the liver converts it into fat and it's stored in fat cells. And in fact, it is deposited in the liver, in the pancreas, it is deposited in the cells, in the muscles, everywhere. And when the fat is accumulated everywhere, the cells become more and more insulin resistant because it has adequate stores of energy in its storehouses and it doesn't want any more. And the glucose circulates as triglycerides and as fat and as sugar. So exercise is very important. The second aspect is, the first aspect, it is the major utilizer of glucose. Second aspect, it is the major storage of glucose. If liver stores 100 grams of glucose as glycogen, the muscle stores 4 to 6 times as much glucose depending on your musculature. Our exercises have become almost nil. See, when I was working, I would go to the office, prepare breakfast, go to the office, then sit there and have lunch, go wash, come back, sit. At 7:30, I'll go home, sit in the car for 2 hours, and when I reach, on the way, I'll buy something from the bakery, eat it, and when I reach, I'll make some chapati and some curry, and I will eat that again without thinking about whether I'm hungry or what I had already eaten, and then I'll go to bed tired out. I'll think I have worked very hard. I did work very hard, but my muscles didn't work, only my brain worked. So you have to work your muscles also. All parts of your body has to work if you have to remain healthy. Use it or lose it. And when you age, you also lose your muscle because of aging. And aging loss plus your sedentary lifestyle loss will accumulate so that your metabolism also slows down. The metabolism is the rate at which you burn the energy. Your rate at which you utilize the glucose depends on your metabolism. So if your metabolism becomes slow, then again you are a loser in the matter of diabetes. So exercise is 100% required, and the exercise of every muscle is required. It is the only another thing about muscles is muscles don't need insulin to absorb glucose. Whenever the muscle exercises, if you just do this also, the muscle will absorb glucose after some time. It will require glucose to keep up the work. So muscle for burning energy does not need insulin to draw glucose into its cells.
So that is another importance of
So
exercise.
physical activity is very important, and the changes in diet and the changes in physical activity will show dramatic results and will bring your HbA1c, if followed properly, from 9 to 7. And you will think my diabetes has been reversed, but don't think you are cured. The third one is obesity. Many diabetics are obese. I was not considered, I was not really obese, but there are thin obese also, the thin diabetics also, whose fat is deposited inside their um, viscera, in your, it is called visceral fat, in your mother cavity, in the cavity where your stomach and organs are. This fat is deposited in on the organs, and because that fat is everywhere inside, that will um, reduce the efficiency of liver, pancreas, and everything, and it will damage all your organs. So that leads to liver cirrhosis, also excessive fat in the liver. So that is the kind of body that I have. I don't have too much subcutaneous fat under my skin. My fat is mainly in my stomach. So that you can be a thin and obese person with more fat inside your stomach. So that obesity, answer to obesity is adjusting your activity as activity levels, physical activity levels, and adjusting your diet. Then there is genetics. I have my parents, grandparents. There were some people who were always diabetic, and so I have the diabetic gene in me, and that gene need not always be expressed. And if the circumstances and environment is correct, that gene will be expressed. And my genetic tendency for diabetes has been expressed when I was. It came to evidence as high blood sugar when I was 46, but I had started becoming diabetic much earlier, at least 15 years earlier. If I had checked my insulin, fasting insulin, it would have been higher, and I could see to be higher, and I could have taken steps to control things at that stage itself, so that I do not become a diabetic. Just because your blood sugar is normal does not mean that you are not a diabetic. You are not, you don't have metabolic syndrome. That is, diabetes is just one disease in a handful of diseases that come under metabolic syndrome. The next one is age. See, I didn't show that diabetes as blood sugar till I was 46. So age is one factor. The age and my all these things, muscle loss, everything, and but the body's efficiency also comes down with age, and all these years of accumulated abuse of my body, everything together had contributed to the diabetes. Then hormonal imbalances, conditions like PCOD, PCOS, this will be addressed by the doctors. Poor sleep is a very important contributor to diabetes, because sleep deprivation can manifest as many kinds of diseases that will increase your cortisol levels, increase stress, and raise your metabolic balance, your balance of the hormones in your body, the balance of your body into a higher level. Because cortisol is higher, your glucose will be higher, everything will be geared up to address a threat that is there. Elevated cortisol gives the message to the body that there is a threat before us. And to address that threat, everything in the body gets equipped by raising its revving up, you could say. And that, keeping it up like that, that will contribute to diabetes. Then poor sleep, I had missed something. Sleep is where, when your body is repaired, you need constant repair in your body. And if you don't sleep well, and if you don't give sufficient gap between your meals, so eating, when you diet is not only about what you eat, it is also about when you eat. So that is also addressed. So when you don't sleep, the proper rest and repair is not done, and your gut lining, everything becomes less than optimum. So in order to keep your body healthy, you need sleep. So These are the things that they teach. Then smoking and excessive alcohol consumption, they would ask you to stop. Smoking 100% alcohol to a great extent. Another thing they introduce you to is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is something about diet only, that it you could say it is a lifestyle and diet combined measure where you decide when to eat. So you increase the gap when you are not eating so that your body digests everything and is able to repair. Especially, this is best if you eat early in the evening, and when you go to bed, your body is able to digest early and in sleep repair itself. So, these are the measures that they teach. And these things are what had contributed to your diabetes. The wrong approach to these aspects had contributed to your diabetes, and you're reversing diabetes by reversing the steps that you did wrong. You have to correct yourself. When doctors treat you, you have to contribute your share also for the treatment to succeed. When you have say COVID, when you had COVID, you went into the hospital, they pumped medicine into you, they gave you oxygen, and then you were cured and you came back. The COVID was overcome by your body. That then you did not do much. You just lay in bed and you took in all the medicines, and then after coming, you did not exert yourself too much because you were afraid of getting a heart attack. Diabetes is the one of the major risks for heart attacks. So, but in diabetes treatment, you just take the medicine and watch the blood sugar and expect it to go down and you to remain healthy. It will go down. And then after some time, it will creep up, because with the blood sugar going down, you feel more confident about eating and you eat more. You eat more sweets, or you eat more quantity of food, or you relax your control. And then you go back and you get a bigger dose of medicine. Again, your blood sugar comes down and you are happy and contented. But that is a dangerous step. You have to do your contribution. You have to do the 50% because it is your body. Once you are out of the doctor's office, it is out of his control. He has given you some advice. He may not be giving you all the information. Nowadays, I don't think it is the case. They teach you how to handle things, they tell you everything, but following it is up to you. The diabetes reversal programs, they do the hand holding, and they send you messages every day. And one last thing I want to say, which is not about diabetes reversal programs, it is about the yoga program that I joined, Habit. It is very good for the no in Hindi speaking people because it is half in Hindi and half in English, and it is from the Hindi speaking belt that they teach us. But this I have to say about the Habit team. They have put in every effort to make a very comprehensive health physical fitness program, which comes every day morning to you. There are 3 sessions in the morning, 3 sessions in the afternoon. You can opt to do the session in any of these slots. You can do in 2 also if you want. And everybody in your family who is in your who is in your building, they can also come in to the room, and they send a link from by WhatsApp to your phone, and I open it in my phone computer, and then I can see it on the large screen, and I do it along with my husband. And I can't thank Habit enough. And that is the only reason why I'm telling you this again and again, because how much it has changed my life. See, every morning now I do the 6:30 slot. After getting up, I have a purpose. I have to see, both of us are retired and sitting at home. We have a grandchild who comes in after school, and then we are involved in her. And there is a lots of other daily chores. But this somehow perks me up. I have to get up and be ready for the 6:30 slot. I keep everything ready, spread the mat, and start the yoga session with Saurabh Bothra. And he has two variations every time. One is for the young and fit, and the other is for people like me who had been sedentary, whose joints are not flexible. And each day we have a different program. And Friday was flexibility, and every single joint in our body, including neck, shoulders, knees, hip, everything had been exercised today. So these things are important to keep you from getting stiffer. They also have stamina, flexibility. I think Saturday is stamina, Friday is flexibility. There is upper body workout, a lower body workout. So your muscles are also attended to. Your joints are also attended to. Your stamina is attended to. Then also there is some small meditations and a few yoga postures to keep you flexible. It is very good, I have to say, and the fees is not too much either. When you have to do, but they give you the option to decide whether you like it or not. By the 21-day free yoga challenge, which starts on June 10th, I will give the link below. It is not because they offer free t-shirts for those who bring in 100 people or a free water bottle. Those things are not important to me at all. And I maybe they may give 7 days extension of my paid period. I have paid for 1 year, and that is also not very important to me at all, because monthly for 1 year it is only 3,990 rupees, and that is very cheap. When if I have to go to the yoga center nearby, I have to pay at least 1,200 a month. And considering that this is very cheap and I don't have to dress up and go carry my mat, see, I can stand do this in the spare space of my bedroom. And the programs I go to will be only yoga. And I had gone earlier, that was all yoga. Here, there is a lot of other things like flexibility and stamina and muscle workout and yoga. Not too much of it, but enough for a person like me. And for others also, I don't know. I have only completed about 100 days. So I don't know as I progress what are the other things that they will give. So I have contributed to the 12 months. I have paid for the 12 months program, and I had lots of free things added onto it. And one was free diabetes free. They were guiding on diet and exercise, and there was a special session. There were special sessions by Saurabh Bothra's sister, Trishala, on diabetic exercises with resistance bands. And all these things are being taught free of cost, along with my 1 year subscription. They also taught microgreens, how to grow microgreens, how to consume microgreens, then Marma science. See, that is more Ayurveda based, Marma science, and which points to press when you have a headache and things like that, which I did not attend because I am so busy throughout the days and I don't have all the time. The diabetes programs I saw, most of it I saw, and they share recordings, and I've seen the recordings. They are good if you are outside Kerala, because the diet is mainly meant for roti and rajma chawal and things like that. But I ask you, trying or just watching the 21 days will not cost you anything except a little time to sit and open the link. Why don't you try it? Why don't you try? I tried and I found it very good, and I joined for 1 year. And it has helped me a lot, not only to remain positive, that is important in diabetes. You have to be calm. They teach one habit every month, and they keep reminding, they keep sending messages every day. And that one habit first that we learned was to go to bed early, to sleep well, get sleep. Then second was hydration. Like then one was smile more. That is, you have to keep a positive attitude. Negative attitudes also contribute to ill health. So why don't you try for the 21 days? I am saying because I benefited from it. It is there free for all for 21 days. And only if you find worthwhile, you have to contribute and pay for the subscription. So that is why I am suggesting it, not because of any ulterior motive. I am a Malayali, and they are people who speak Marathi, or I don't know about Gujarati or what their language is. But one thing I'll tell you, it is really, really, really a blessing in my life. So thank you.